What's the weirdest thing you've seen a couple do in public? Girl sat on her partner's lap and let loose the longest, loudest fart I've ever heard. And the guy moaned, "Yeah, baby, that's the good stuff." I worked on a gas station, and one evening this couple dressed in black entered the shop. The woman was wearing a leather collar with a leash on that the man held like he was walking a dog. The woman had to pay for the stuff that they bought, and I just stood there behind the cashier desk, trying to pretend it was the most normal thing ever. Witnessed a group, presumably two hetero couples on a double date, at a local bar all talking and drinking. For whatever reason, I kept watching, and had the extreme displeasure of watching as the man in the couple closer to me casually shoved his hand down the back of his counterpart's pants and presumably began finger-banging her back. Pocket. Before he pulled his hand back out rolled something I won't describe around between his fingers, and finally sniff his hand, all while appearing to listen to the other couple talking to them. Wish I had looked away, TBH. Saw a couple at a gas station wearing matching beekeeper suits, arguing in full mime. No sound, just aggressive invisible box work, and one of them faked through an invisible pie. Then they both froze, turned to me in perfect sync, and the guy whispered, "It's almost harvest time." They got in a car with no plates and drove off blasting Gregorian chants. I have not emotionally recovered. Financial kink. Pretty young dom with an old guy come into my store and made him buy hundreds of dollars of things. I could see his collar under his shirt. Not the weirdest, but the most notable to me. Touch weirdly sensually, and I don't mean like frickin', I mean, he was weirdly rubbing her knee with two fingers and holding solid eye contact with her while grunting, and she was playing with his beard like full-on mushing his beard between her fingers. It was one of the weirdest shit I've ever frickin' seen. Watched a guy try to impress his date by doing push-ups in the middle of a restaurant. Knew a couple that apparently had a bit of a food kink. They discovered chocolate-ready whipped cream. They brought a can of it to the club for goth night and thought it'd be sexy fun to play with. Turns out the stuff looked like liquid shit and food play is only sexy in private. I was sitting next to a parked car at a gas station. A family of at least 3. Mom, dad, and a kid. I guess they had just gotten some food from the gas station and were really enjoying it because she licked his fingers for him. Did not seem sexual at all. They were both just stuffing their faces, LOL. So gross though. Once saw a man and a woman sitting in the smoking area of the train 20 years ago and inhaling lighter fluid from a can. I started walking over there to ask him to stop when I noticed he was getting a wank from the female as well. A coupling arguing, and while crossing the street she pulls down the front of her sweatpants and yells, "Eat me," while exposing full bush. Hairy and natural blonde. Sharing gum. Guy literally took his chewed gum out of his mouth, then gave it to his girlfriend for her to put in her mouth. At Busch Gardens, I was middle school aged and standing in a long line for a ride. There were 2 men in their 20s or 30s, a couple places ahead in the line. Both were wearing tank tops and bucket hats with cargo shorts. One man had his arm in the air propped on a post, and the other guy was silently and very gently fingering and pulling the other guy's armpit hair. That was almost 25 years ago, and I'll never forget it. I assumed they were a couple, saw a couple get it on at one of the last Warped tours I went to. The guy bent the girl over the barricade, and that was that. My cousin used to burp into her husband's mouth so he could taste her last meal. This couple was having a fight to end all fights. The woman took her man's phone and pulled up his affair chats. He exploded at her. She exploded back at him. Maybe not the first weird thing you'd normally think of, but this was at the beginning of a long-haul train ride. And I think that's one hell of a weird place to air out your dysfunctional relationship. I was in the Mission District of SF and I saw a couple fighting, and they were obviously heavy drug user. He ripped off her wig and threw it into the street. They were both riding big 3-wheel bicycles with flags sticking out the back of them, right through the El Mirage Walmart, here in El Mirage as. I don't think they're disabled or anything, just assholes. Was at a movie theater, and mid-movie I see this couple who'd been acting a little too close for comfort. The whole movie get weirder. Girl took his hand, shoved at the popcorn then, while he very clearly had a handful of buttery popcorn. She shoves his hand down her pants. A girl popping her man's pimple on the bus. I almost threw up.